All right, look what I got in my little greedy hands today. This is a beef tri-tip from an actual butcher. They cut up cows because that's what they do for a living, right? This isn't from the club store where they've already injected it with a bunch of salt water and mechanically tenderized it and did whatever nasty stuff you can do to mess it up. This is actually straight from the cow into my greedy hands. So today we're going to throw it on the smoker of all things. You can throw it in the oven, you can throw it on the grill. I'm going to smoke it. So join me as I smoke a beef tri-tip. All right, this is our beef tri-tip. As you can see, it is triangular shaped. And this puppy weighs 2-3 pounds, somewhere in that area. They can get as much as 5 pounds, allegedly, with some fat, and I don't know, depending upon how they trim it or not. But for the most part, they're 2 to 3 pounds for a roast. Sometimes you can go to a club store and maybe you can get lots of these in a cryovac pack thingy, or they cut them up. Good luck with whatever you get. But if you can get it where it's unadulterated, great. Marinate these things however you want, right? And for maybe a day or two, and then throw them on the grill. Have a party. A couple of months ago, we did one of these things where I think Amy did go to a club store and they injected it with a bunch of nasty stuff. We cooked it. It probably tasted okay, but it probably wasn't optimal because it had been messed with. These things in their natural state, right off a cow from a good butcher, is how you want to do them. Right, Boo? Yeah. Yeah. But no, these are great. Making mistakes, have sandwiches, whatever. But so it is a cut of meat. It does have a little bit of a fat cap on it. We kind of notice that this thing's got a grain on here, and ultimately we're going to want to cut against the grain so it's a little more tender. But we'll deal with that later. All right, some of the seasonings we're going to use today is we're just using some kosher salt. We're using some garlic powder, granulated. We have some granulated onion powder as well, and then just some coarse ground pepper, right? And I'm just using a 1-to-1 relationship. So I have 1 tablespoon of each. And this is what it kind of looks like when you mix it all up. So we'll see what we get, right? We're keeping this pretty simple. I like salt, I like pepper, I like onion, I like garlic. I don't think beef needs anything else more than that. But if you have a tasty barbecue rub, by all means. If you have a tasty marinade you want to do, get some bourbon going. You can do all kinds of good stuff. We're going to use some yellow mustard. I do this typically on barbecues when I'm using a rub, just because it gives it something to stick to. I don't know. With this being a big old fat cap, they did cut it reasonably thin, so I'm not too worried about that. But I don't really think seasonings are going to penetrate that all that well. So who knows? I'll probably put some rub on there. But we're going to go ahead and got that guy all nice and covered. He's happy. We're going to put the rub on there very generously. I'm using coarse pretty much everything on here, so it shouldn't overdo the flavor. If I use table salt, I have to go careful because I don't want this thing to be ruined, right? There's a reason why I'm using coarse salt. It adds flavor, but it doesn't take over too much. And if you put this on in like the future or whatever, future, past, whatever. But basically, if you put this for like overnight with the stuff on, it just gives it maybe a better chance to soak in, who knows. But we're gonna have a relatively short cook time. So, but believe me, it'll come out tasty. For what it's worth, I'm just gonna put the rest on here. And we're just gonna get the sides as well. All right, we got the smoker here. This is a WSM Weber Smokey Mountain. I got Kingsford in the bottom. I got some apple wood chunks down there. It's just, I'm cooking some special stuff down below. That's not a topic of this video, but it'll be part of my dinner along with this stuff. And we're getting ready to put this guy on here. So I've got a remote thermometer bopper going because we need to know what the temperature is. So the goal here is to cook this thing to a temperature that you want it to be. What I mean by that is you need to know if you like your meat rare, medium rare, well, or whatever. So long story short, we're going to go ahead and cook this thing until it gets close to being medium rare temperature. Then we're going to take it off and throw it onto a hot grill to sear it and get some little marks. Because at 250 or so degrees, this thing is not going to do much. It's going to add a nice flavor and it's going to cook it the way I want it to be, but it's not going to have the sear marks. So without further ado, actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it fat down here. Not that it matters. And I'm going to get the lid back on. So we'll check it a little bit. Because we're going to be doing a sear on the tri-tip once we take it off the smoker, we're going to throw it on the grill. I want a really high temp, so I'm going with some lump charcoal. Lump charcoal is kind of cool because when you light it in a chimney, it acts like fireworks. So make sure you don't have any leaves or dry grass or trees around because you don't want to start a forest fire, right? But this stuff's pretty cool. So it should be ready in just a few minutes. All right, our meat's been cooking for a little while. The thermometer thingy thinks it's 136, which is about where I want it, or a little less than that. Yeah, the thermopin is getting close. He thinks it's about 134. That area's about 138. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pull this off. So I don't really need that anymore. The probe here, so we can just pull him out if you'll let me. And he's out of there.
You doing the lawn, Boo?
So I'm just gonna, maybe am I doing the lawn? Neighbors are doing theirs. So let's go ahead and pull this hunk of meat off. If you'll let me. And we'll get him onto the grill for a quick sear. All right, we're gonna be a little dangerous here. Gotta Yes, it's gonna be fun. All right. So that's step one is get that out of there. All right, we got our charcoal somehow arranged. I'm just gonna go ahead, lower him there. Gosh. All right, got that going. Just doing a little cleanup here. I just always put a little oil on a paper towel. If you can do it while the grill's cool, you have less chance of this stuff catching on fire. But that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and get this going here. Goal is to put a couple minutes on each side, just get some grill marks. What you call it, lump charcoal is a hardwood. It's not like Kingsford, where Kingsford has glue, binders, chemicals, a bunch of stuff. This is the best, right? It's either trees or hardwood flooring. It's one of the two.
Railroad ties.
Railroad ties, whatever's made out of hardwood that they could burn down and put in a bag. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick peeky here. All right, I got something going. Let's go ahead and get that going. Got a little juicy bubbling in there. So that could be a good sign. Let's take a quick look here. A little longer. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take it off now. So, I don't know, that meat under the crust is looking kind of tasty. All right, we're going to tint this a little bit. You always want your meat to rest for 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, so the juices can like redistribute. So that way when you slice, it just doesn't all come out and then it's dry, right? So we'll be back shortly. All right, fun part here, right? We got our Yaxle Dragon knife here. It's a Fusion chef's knife. So we'll see if it can cut up some tri-tip for us, right? And we got this bad boy, he's been resting. So without further ado, let's see what he looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy off the plate so we can do some damage to him. Yeah.
Smells like smoke.
Smells like some in here. All right, here. All right, since it looks like the grain's kind of going lengthwise, we're gonna go this ways. I don't know. Let's go ahead. Well, on the gray side, but that's also a thin guy. Beef, smoke, it's all good. Let's go ahead. You can kind of see the juices as I'm pushing down on him. I'm not a professional slicer, so try not to hold that against me. My goal on this was to cook it medium rare. Now, if you're in the steak industry or meat industry, to you, medium rare is probably around 125 degrees, maybe 130-ish. To the rest of us, we don't want to see blood. We want pink, but we don't want blood. Of course, that's where sous vide does a great job, right? I probably like it closer to a, let's go ahead. I probably like closer to a medium. This is kind of a combination of a little bit of pink, a little bit of gray. Fat's getting in the way a little bit right there. It's a little bit like roast beef, where once we get into a thicker part of it, it's more of like a pink overall. Got just a slight gray around your edge, a little bit down here by the fat. But for the most part, it's an even pale pink, which is probably more of like a medium. I think if it was rare, it'd be redder. I got a little bit of juices down here. This is great. I mean, I don't know how you'd cook it any better. All right, so we got some good stuff here, right? I mean, geez. This little piece right here. You can just see how nice and juicy this is. Like I said, I'm not into just bloody things. So this is technically a medium because it's a rosy pink. If it was a brighter red, I'd say it's rare or medium rare, but this is to me, is about as good as it gets. The meat is tender. It's still gonna be a little on the chewy side because it is kind of like a meat that, you know, when you talk about steaks, you know, but unless you're gonna sous vide it for like 4 days and then it just falls apart in your fingers. But look at this, just. So the rub gave it a really good flavor without overpowering it. Because that's not what you don't want to do. You don't want some crazy rub that's going to mask the beef flavor in this, right? You know, it's meat. You want to enjoy, you want to complement it, not overtake it. If you want to put a steak sauce on it, I suppose you could, but I think on its own it's good. So this particular cut of meat can be a little on the tough or a little bit on the chewy side, depending upon how you prepare it, or cut it nice and thin against the grain, and it doesn't get better than that. The smoke did a good job. It didn't make it taste like tire material or anything like that. I think it gave it more flavor than if you were to grill it. But then the quick grill gave us the char marks, which adds that flavor, right? Because there's compounds and chemicals and stuff in that, and that just makes it go ooh, ah, ee. So I like this a lot better than the stuff that's been store-bought, manipulated with injections and just horrible. Now, if you want to put your own injections in it, that's up to you. But to let a store do it for you, I think that's just wrong. Or it's a bad piece of meat to start with that they're trying to mask. This was good. You need to find a butcher that knows what they're doing. Ask for a tri-tip. If they don't know what you're talking about, you need to go to somebody else. I'm lucky that we have one about an hour drive away who knows what this is. And this is great. Out on the West Coast, not a problem. East Coast, good luck. But we got lucky, right? So, cheers. Amy's back there because she likes chicken and turkey. She's not into like meat. So this is just gross, right? But no, this is great. So I hope you guys give it a shot. Like I said, if you're on the West Coast, you shouldn't have a problem finding it. East Coast, you just need to hunt around, okay? It's called tri-tip. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and a like. Subscribe. Make sure you got the notification bell on so you know when these things are uploaded. Please visit our website. We will have the recipe up there. Amy's done a lot of work to get that going. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/group/Amy Learns to Cook. Got a crazy group of people that just love to talk about cookware, cooking, and everything in between. So we really appreciate that. We're also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook. And we're on Instagram at Cooking with Amy. Now the good part, I get to eat more now. See, boo? No.
You need a baked potato with that.
You know, I really do, but you know, this is good. You can just make a sandwich out of this stuff. You just cut that like that. This is great.
It looks like meat.
Amy's not normally a meat person.
Baby, you rock my world. Baby, you rock my